Running was preparing me for a life that I was going to have. You know, we make choices and we don't always know where they're going to lead. I'm Linda Teliha. I went to Bullard High School in Fresno. I ran track in high school, and then I was running track at Fresno City College. I was good enough to have the school record. I was in the paper, I was on TV, I was athlete of the week and athlete of the month, and well on my way to having a successful college track and cross-country career. I was being recruited by different four-year schools, and I'd gotten a letter from a four-year school letting me know that if all went well, that I would have a full scholarship as long as I didn't get injured in between. And so I hadn't made a decision of where I was going to go, and then in my sophomore year, I got pregnant, and I had to make a decision. When I found out I was pregnant, I thought my life was over. And it was. My life as it was over. And I just was angry and frustrated, and I was mad at myself for not paying attention to the opportunities that I had, and for just, you know, making quick decisions and making the wrong choices. And so I couldn't really see much past that, past the anger and the bitterness. And I really, some people talked about God, and I thought, what kind of God is this that would just let something like this happen? And I didn't realize that that kind of God was the kind of God who had a better plan. And so I was definitely contemplating abortion. In fact, I was pretty sure I was going to have an abortion. Lots of people were advising to go ahead and have an abortion, including coaches and other athletes, and I thought in my mind that was the easiest, best way to go. My parents were the ones who said, you know, before you do anything, you should go to see a counselor. And we ended up choosing Crisis Pregnancy Center rather than Planned Parenthood. And we went for an appointment there. I was thinking to myself, because that was my world, myself, my running, my life, my control. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna have any control over my body during this process. I can't do this. So I was still thinking me and how it was gonna affect me. And so we ended up going into a counseling session with one of their volunteer counselors, and we were going back and forth about the reasons why I should or should not have an abortion. And I was telling her that, you know, I wanted to go to college, and I had a scholarship, and I had my life mapped out. I was going to do photography, and I was going to, you know, do whatever I was thinking at the time. And at the end, I think we all were thinking, gosh, you know, this doesn't look like a time for someone to have a baby. And she said one thing. She said, just when you think all the walls are closing in, God will shine the light. And that's where I changed my mind. And I walked out the door, and suddenly I decided that I was gonna have a baby. And it just went like that. It was completely clear and certain that that was the right thing to do. So even though it was clear and certain, it wasn't easy. It was hard. It was hard, but it was a different kind of hard. It was the kind of hard that had light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that's how I could describe it. It was a long road with a tiny light. And I didn't even know at the time what the light was, but it was hope. So the next steps were just simply getting through the day. Like, there would be days when I would go to sleep and I would wake up and I'd think, oh my gosh, I'm still pregnant. How did this happen? And then the days got closer, and I started to prepare just to be a mom, and I didn't really know how to do that. And then when she was born, it just happened. I became we, and my life was different. I started to think about us and what was best for both of us. I ended up going back to school and ended up continuing to run at Fresno State, and sometimes I would bring my daughter to practice, and it was hard, but it didn't seem that hard at the time. It seemed doable. If someone were in my situation, I think that I would simply give them a bigger picture. You know, the way that you feel today is not the way that you're going to feel in the future, and I have never met anyone who's had an abortion and has not been regretful in some way. I don't have any guilt or regrets about my decision, and it's taken a long time for me to come to terms with this was my life, and it's good. I mean, I have 4 beautiful daughters, and all 4 of them are more successful or will be more successful than I am. I have a husband who has stood by me since day one, and you know, I'm able to look at them and say, yes, I lived not just for you, but because of you, and life has been good.